What do a Black Christian woman
and a Jewish white guy have in common?
We're both seasoned marriage counselors, both married
to other people,
and we're loaded with straightforward practical tools
to change your marriage for the better today.
Welcome to the Better Marriage Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Better Marriage Podcast. Today, Raffi and I, Ivy, are going to be talking about some ways that you might just be sabotaging conversations with your spouse before you even start the conversation. Raffi?
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways that people do this, aren't there? Before we even get talking, there are some things that we can do to make this conversation work better. So I want to bring up, I think, one of the number one things in today's world is the phone. The phone, right? I'm sure you see this, Ivy, even in your sessions, like you'll be having a conversation with someone and one of them will like pull out the phone for a second, either because there's something urgent or just because they're really not that engaged. And so, okay, we get it. Emergencies happen. If you are expecting an emergency call, maybe you need to keep your phone on, but maybe that's not the time to have a deep conversation with your spouse.
Yeah.
So point number one, turn off the phone. Do not turn it to vibrate. Do not just put it down on the table. It needs to be in such a situation that it cannot disturb you if you're going to be having an important conversation. If you are having a quick conversation like, hey, who's picking up the kids today? Okay, we're all running around, the phones are on. But for sure, if you need to have an important conversation about something sensitive, emotional, important, put the phone to silent or turn it off or put it in a different room.
Yes.
But even just having the phone on the table is a distraction for people. So making sure that is out of your way in order to have the best success for an important conversation.
Yeah, I like that because that speaks that you actually care and that you're listening. In addition to the phones, I would also say other electronics. So whether you're listening to music, except the music is helping you with your conversation in some way, I don't know, the TV, iPads, tablets of any kind, turn everything off so that the only thing that has your attention is your spouse.
Yeah, something that you said made me think there's two parts to this. So one of the parts is that this eliminates distractions. So you're really focusing on each other and it happens. But the other thing is there's a positive benefit, which is when I turn off the phone, when I say, hey, let's turn off the TV and go to the other room, I'm already communicating to you, there's a level of respect here. There's a level of investment. And so beyond just avoiding the problem, you are already setting things off on the right foot. Like, okay, we care about each other. We're going to make this work.
Yes. My spouse is so important to me that I am going to make them the center of my world for this conversation.
Right. Okay. So that sends an important message that I think sets things off on the right foot. So that is an important part about distractions. And related to that is just getting the timing right. Now, if you live on planet Earth in the real world, there is no good timing. I'm actually working on a project in which I add more hours to the day. So I will let you know when I've gotten it above 24. But until then, we only have 24 hours in the day and we're all scrambling. So we do the best we can. But part of doing the best we can, there's a couple factors that go into that. If you have kids, you're always busy. I understand. Making sure that there's some way that they're not going to walk in the middle to the extent possible. If you have an infant, they're going to cry in the middle. You do the best you can. But if you have, some older kids who you can give them a book or a screen or whatever it is, or if they're with a babysitter, or maybe they're asleep. Those are the best times, right? Dinner time when the kids need you, or homework time, that's just not the time to initiate an important conversation.
No, absolutely not. Make sure you're not trying to have these big conversations right before something important is about to happen. So think right before somebody's about to go to work, right before you're about to, start a big meeting, right before a job interview, right before anything important. Why? Your brain is going to be distracted and you're going to be looking at the clock like, I got to go wrap this up in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Most of these conversations are not good for wrap it up in 2 minutes kind of things. Right. So in addition to being distracted, you might actually also get cut off. Maybe you're totally focused and you're really there, but 5 minutes go by and now you have to stop a conversation that's going well. So again, there's a couple parts to that, that if you can avoid starting before, before the next big meeting or the next call or whatever, and like we said in a previous episode, you may have to take a break, right? You may really want to talk about something, and now might not be the time because it won't go well. And so the best thing to do for your relationship is don't talk about it at a time when it's not going to go well. Similarly, late at night, right? And there may be no specific deadline, but it's midnight, it's 1 o'clock, you're both tired. So again, you do have to get to sleep. There is that stress in the back of your mind, like you got to get to sleep because you got to get up in the morning, and you're tired. You're not thinking your best. So these are just all kinds of times where you could pick a better time. And again, we understand it's not always perfect. You don't always have the best options, but when you can avoid starting at these times, your relationship, your conversation will be better off for it.
Yes. And for me, I get hangry. I'm just going to be honest. When I'm hungry, you cannot have a productive conversation with me. So make sure your belly is full, or at least you are not starving. Because when we are hungry, let's be very honest, we get irritable, we get temperamental. So make sure you're not hungry. Make sure that you're not sick. When you're having a pounding headache, or there's a migraine or tummy upset, or whatever it is that's going on for you internally, it puts you on edge a little bit. So, and it's a distraction. Pain is a distraction. Illness is a distraction in itself. So make sure everybody's feeling kind of, good. There's no hunger going on. There's no illness going on. And that allows you to be able to actually focus on the conversation.
Yeah. And, if you are hungry, so you grab a banana. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, you can't always make the timing work out perfectly. But let's say your spouse does want to talk to you, and you are a little exhausted, or you are hungry. You say, okay, great. Wait 1 second. I would like to, but I realize I'm hungry. I do this all the time at home, by the way. When the kids need something or my wife needs something, and I realize I've just hit the wall. Like, my hunger level has gotten to the point where I am not able to push myself beyond my own personal needs. I'll say, sure, 1 second. I'm going to go grab an apple, right? I'm going to have a snack or some prunes. That's a snack that I like. I know that's weird of me, but look, we keep them in the cabinet. They're sweet, they're chewy, it's good. So something that you can grab. By the way, something healthy is better. Obviously, if you're downing sugar all day long, later on it's going to come back to bite you. Um, but sometimes you need a sugar buzz. Okay, grab a chocolate bar or something. That helps a lot in terms of putting yourself in the right place, in the right frame of mind. If you are tired and you have the ability to go rest 5 minutes, close your eyes, that might make all the difference. So these are all ways that you can set up a proper context for having a good conversation. We've already put a lot in here. We'll review this all in just a minute, and we'll go back through some of these tips. I think there's one more category of things we want to deal with, which is where you are and who's around.
Yes. Location is really important. Try as best you can not to be having these deep emotional conversations when you are in public. Number one, it could be really embarrassing. Like somebody might end up in tears or whatever. And then, you have people at the grocery store staring at you, or it's actually really distracting sometimes. You're trying to push the cart, you're trying to put bananas in the cart, and then you're also trying to figure out how to have this deep conversation with your spouse. So another thing to think about when we talk about in public, sometimes you're in your home, right? But there are people there. Your in laws are there, your cousins come over to visit, your best friend's there, your neighbor's there. Let's try to avoid having these conversations when we have other people staring at us, because it's just awkward and uncomfortable for everyone involved. And it could be really embarrassing to you and to your spouse, too.
Yeah, and this again calls upon us to put it off as needed. Your mother-in-law says something obnoxious, and you want to deal with that and fix that, and tell your spouse you have to go tell her off. All the Maybe yes, maybe no, but now's not the time to deal with it. It's just not going to go well, and it's almost certainly not an emergency. You may be correct that your mother-in-law said something nasty. You'll talk to your spouse about it later, and you'll do it well. Because, like Ivy, like you said, it's embarrassing. It's distracting. I think there's a factor here that just plays subtly underneath, which is I'm worried about how I look to others. So even if I'm not feeling embarrassed, there's a part of my brain that wants to perform well. Especially around my family. If we're in a restaurant and I want to, not make a scene, and so that's going to affect how I'm having this conversation. So doing it in public or just where other people are around, that will affect how the conversation goes. And again, the kid thing is an issue. If your kids are around, that may not be a great time. Although there is an aspect of this, let's say you have a young child who's napping or nursing or whatever, and just like quietly there, that may not be a distraction to you, it might be okay. But also, let's say you're having a conversation which is not conflictual,
Hmm.
but just important, connecting, whatever. I find that that's actually great to do when the kids are around. My kids cringe a lot in my house. There's a lot of cringing because we talk about feelings a lot.
Yeah.
But my kids have learned that it's okay to talk about things.
Yeah.
And even when it does get difficult, obviously we're not having big, serious issues in front of them. But we will acknowledge that we talk about things, or we'll say, you know what, let's go to our room and have a conversation about this. And so having the kids know that you talk about things, we're not hiding it from them.
Right.
Right? The idea of not doing it in public doesn't mean that other people shouldn't know we're having conversations. I think it's great for our kids to know that we are talking about important things in our marriage. Just again, what they're exposed to and what you're thinking when people are watching, that's what to be aware of.
Yeah.
There's one more location thing I want to bring up, which is the car. Try as much as you can not to bring up difficult issues in the car, right? Because we've talked about timeout. You can't take a timeout in the car unless you're diving out of the car and rolling, which
You
is
can do
not,
that.
yeah, it's not optimal for your own personal physical health. Um, it's a pressure cooker. It's a difficult situation, and we've all been there, cranky at each other in the car, or being annoyed with each other. That's the best time to just stuff it and not deal with it. If something comes up, definitely don't start it in the car. Don't bring it up in the car because you're stuck there, right? Whether it's for a few minutes or like you're on a 10-hour drive or whatever, this is not the time. It is a recipe for disaster. I've seen it many times. I've been there, and had to really bite down. So the car is definitely not a good location either.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a safety issue for the driver. It could be, right? If driver's getting heated and all distracted, you just don't want that. And it's okay to say, you know what? Let's have a conversation at 7 p.m. or at whatever when we get safely to our destination, or like,
Yeah.
so we get to say this is not the right time for this, but then pick whatever is the right time.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I think that covers some of our contextual things we want to talk about. Let's do a quick recap. There was the phones and distractions, right? Put those away, turn
Yes.
them off, silent. There was timing.
Mhm.
So we had talked about, not before a big issue, not before a meeting, and not before bedtime,
Yes.
not when the kids are running around, and make sure that you're not too hungry or tired or sick, right? Making sure that you're in a good place to do that. And then in terms of location,
Not in public, not when you have other people staring at you, right? Pick a location that is more quiet and private. We're not saying, have the kids leave the house, but, within reason, just ensure that you're not feeling embarrassed because there's eyeballs on you and you're worried about how you're feeling and how you look. And one important thing that Rafi mentioned, we're not saying don't ever have conversations in front of your kids, because it is important for kids to understand that adults communicate, and kids are learning how to communicate by watching their adults. But we don't want to get heated and out of pocket in front of the children.
great. So we will definitely have some more conversations here about conversations and how to do them well. This was just about how you can set yourself up for success before you even start the conversation. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. So take these tips, run with them, and I hope that it helps you make your marriage better.
All right. Have a
See
great
you
day,
guys
guys.
next time.